So this is how to make 10 grand a month and escape the 9 to 5 job forever in step-by-step format. In my last video, I talked about some more lazy and quick ways to make some money. I'm very glad some of you enjoyed that. But as I even said in that video, if I had to personally choose a path, this right now, what I'm about to tell you about, is the one that I would go after immediately, since it's a lot more beginner friendly, if you will, and all of that. So before we dive in, I just want to be clear again, it's not about some get rich quick schemes or making even promises that I can't back up at all. This is literally the exact system I used to build my own income to that first 10 grand a month in real time. And again, before I hear it in the comments, I don't hate 9 to 5s. I literally recommend them for all beginners. But this is more for if you're just tired of the clocking and grind, or feeling underpaid, undervalued, or just literally want more money and freedom. That is who this video is for. My goal for this video, just like the last one, full transparency, is for you to just do this. Just take one of these paths, take some of the profits and reinvest into the mentorship, where I will handhold you to your first 5 to 10 grand a month through a freelance and agency business. I've got people right now signing clients, getting case studies as we speak. So if you're interested, apply below. I'll not only see if you're a good fit, but potentially even book a call with you directly. So it's not wasting time. Let's get into it. This is my personal 10 grand a month story, and even more so, a mindset shift, if you will. I'm not bullshitting here. I'll throw up a screenshot of my earnings. My first point, I want to talk more about that because you need to understand this. This isn't like, you probably feel the same way, but a few years in the corporate world, I just had no interest anymore. I was always knowing at some point I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what I was going to do. I have nothing against jobs. It was nothing against that, but I needed to own equity. I wanted to do my own thing. And most jobs are a mean to an end at some point. Unless you're working for some freaking high growth startup or you're on a really good sales offer, full respect. I get that. But even then, there's always some type of hierarchy. There's people backstabbing. There's people trying to grind up that corporate ladder. They don't care how they get there, how many people they need to walk over to do so. I just got sick of it, to be quite frank. I just got sick of sipping the Kool-Aid. And I was like, listen, this is the perfect time to do this thing. My situation was very unique, but a lot of people are in that same boat and they may not even realize it, right? It's like I knew I had the skill set. I knew I just needed to take the plunge, but I was scared and I was anxious. And, I get it. But at some point, you need to go through the 9 to 5 first and then start your own thing later. I just think 9 out of 10 times that's going to work a lot better. And I need to first talk about also why 10 grand a month is the magic number, in my opinion. At this level, a few things happen. I'm telling you from experience, when you hit that consistently, I noticed 3 things on my second 10K month. First, the financial stress kind of just, if I'm being frank, just disappeared. Second, you can actually reinvest in more investments, more stocks, growing your actual business without feeling a crazy pinch. And then third, I had actual freedom. That's like the most important thing. Not just evenings and weekends. I wasn't just freaking looking forward to holidays. Like, I was actually doing it. Even when I was working like a dog in 2022, 10, 11, 12 hours days, I'd rather do that than working even 4 hours a day in the corporate world, just being honest, right? So the biggest mindset thing that you need to make is like, stop thinking about hourly rates. The moment you detach your income from your time is when everything changes. At a certain point, you need to sell your time. I get that. But this is like, I had a famous moment in a live stream I did like 6 months ago where a guy is literally working Uber as he's listening to me and 2 other jobs at the same time. And he was wondering why he couldn't get ahead. He was actually getting angry. And I was like, dude, the math is dead simple. Even at $50 an hour, right? Jack up your rates. You need to work 200 hours to make 10 grand a month. And I'm not saying, by all means, go crush it if you want to per month, but that's essentially impossible, at least in a sustainable way. But when you build systems or you charge like a specific high ticket price that generates revenue without your input all the time, that's when things change. That's when you make really good money. Right? So that goes right into the second point. What are the business models that will get you to 10 grand a month? I think there's two dead simple ones that can scale. And trust me, I've tested dozens of different quote unquote beginner business models, if you will. The real estate wholesaling stuff, freaking car flipping, private equity deal sourcing, everything under Forex trading, streaming. Like, I get it. Nothing beats these 2. Full confidence. Okay. And this is what allowed me to hit the 10K month mark without actual, like, real ongoing work or an extra need from me on the latter second one. So for beginners, sales, just selling other people's expensive products will take you so far. You can actually probably make more than 10 grand a month. Honestly, I know kids making 15, 20, 25K if they're on the right offering. You don't have to worry about customer service, about business bank accounts, setting up your LLC, any of that stuff. You sell and you close. That's it. It is a grind. You will constantly have calls on your calendar, but when you become I actually recommend a setter and then become a high ticket closer. It builds the foundational skills of a good entrepreneur. If you want to parlay that into entrepreneurship later, which I recommend you do. And the second model for my more intermediate guys, maybe you have some sales experience, maybe you have some good communication skills, is freelance and agency services. This is obviously if you have a better existing skill set, you're going to need to know how to sell to make any of these work regardless. But this could be anything, right? Some great ideas that I'm seeing right now is B2B businesses and going to them and doing copywriting or email marketing or ghostwriting for certain creators or freaking design creatives with ChatGPT's image duration services, cold email lead gen, AI implementation for SMBs, or just becoming an AI consultant in general. People, I know guys that are booked out till November, December, who can't even take on more projects because they're just consulting on what they know. And it's not some crazy guesswork. Like there are genuinely so many ways to make this work right now. And this is what I'm teaching and whatnot. You could basically just flip a coin and say, great, this is my business model. This is what I'm pursuing, because there's just a ton of it right now. There is so much abundance in this thing. Pick one model. Obviously, if you have an existing skill set within one, do that for sure. If you know a niche like it's the back of your hand, do that first. If you don't, literally just choose one of these blindly. At this point, it does not matter. There is a 12 to 18 month window where you could do genuinely anything under the sun. As long as you're not an idiot, you're going to make money. Okay? Now, moving on, the math to hit 10K and actually how to get clients. So your revenue and your how to get clients, this is important. You need to reverse engineer this. If you absolutely must, I would literally work for free just to get case studies and be able to market those case studies. Those are worth more than the retainer itself. These are worth more than $1,000 or $2,000 or even $3,000, because if you get one, ideally 3 to 5 case studies if you can, but just one positive, good local legit review of a person telling you before working with John, this was where my business was at. After working with John, oh my God, we're filled with appointments. We're filled with more leads. We're getting more deals. Our website's faster. Whatever the hell your offer is, that's what you need to run with, right? So the pricing structure, if you've got to be flexible here as a salesperson, this is just simple. 10 to 20% commission of every high ticket close that you sell. Awesome. For freelance or agency stuff, I always do a retainer or a per lead. So typically like a $1,000 to $2,000 a month minimum, and then backfill with what value I have to provide for that amount of money, whether it's amount of leads, a certain amount of creatives, a certain campaign to be set up. It doesn't matter. There's a million ways to do this. So let's say copywriting, for example, you could do a lower retainer and then a percentage of campaign revenue that you write for them, example, right? Like I know a few very famous e-commerce copywriters that are making, dude, 5 to 15, 20 grand a month per client, because they are able to just have that much leverage in writing their flows and take a percentage of sales that they generate. It's crazy, but then eventually you get to a point where you can outsource the copywriting, or you can have AI do 70% of the copywriting for you. It's nuts. Now, client acquisition, how do you do that? It's honestly very easy. I'd focus on the dream 100 outreach, the dream top 100 clients that you would love to work with, that you know are qualified, they have crazy budgets. Reach out to them by hand, very hyper personalized message. I don't care how you get their attention, but also try to get the first handful of clients. That's all you need to do. I don't care if it's local, small businesses, just someone that you know you can help. And this way, it gets your reps in, and it also just works. There's no right or wrong answer here, and I'm biased, but I would say do cold email first, and then cold calls the people who don't answer. You do not need fancy softwares. None of that is worth it yet. You don't need any of that. Just a simple landing page for your offer. A professional domain does help for sure, but even that's not 100% necessary. I've literally closed clients with the Gmail domain before and no landing page. So it's good, but not necessary, so to speak. So now you got that. Now we go into building systems, not just income, right? So this is a huge mistake. I sold everything as a freelancer. You're going to naturally have to do this. You have an advantage as a freelancer. This is why I say start as this, because people like working with someone who they don't have to train. They don't have to freaking manage. It's like they're paying you to come batteries included, essentially. They don't have to worry about benefits. They just bring you on. The issue with that is they're going to demand your time, right? Eventually, you are going to cap out as a freelancer. You almost have a bunch of bosses at that point, versus when you're positioning yourself as an agency, you risk being perceived as like, oh, actually, it's not even a risk, but you're getting perceived as, oh, this guy runs a legit operation, a legit, company. It's kind of cool. And you don't have clients breathing down your neck all that time. So I hand my stuff off to a CSM or an account manager. You don't really need to worry about doing the grunt work yourself, but it's that perception. It's like, hey, this is a legit company and I'm here for you if you need me, but I'm not going to answer your questions 24/7. So I'm able to buy my time back. The systems that I built, there's no real secret to this. It's just creating stuff without your input. We use Instantly software for all our outreach and Built With to get the leads. We have an application funnel that pre-qualifies prospects. We have a booking system that schedules calls only when I'm actually around and available. We use Calendly for that. And then we have SOPs for everything that we offer. We use Airtable for our project management software. Like, you can do all of this. And then the team structure, of course, too. It's like, okay, that's, eventually you're going to have to hire some contractors. So I had a bookkeeper, I had a VA, I had an admin who handles all my bookkeeping and content creation stuff. And then eventually you get appointment setters that you can delegate to. You get that off your plate. And then that way you focus on only growing the business. The only goal right now is to get cash flow through that door. I spent literally 3 months documenting everything I did, just recording everything I did on Loom. And then gradually I slowly started to like throw other tasks off to people, to my employees, right? So what does the freedom timeline look like? This is the most exciting part. Let me just be brutally honest about how long this stuff really takes. I was in a very unique scenario where I got to 12 grand a month within the first like 30, 45 days, something like that. But your first month or two is just building your offer, testing market demand, which I'm telling you is there, but just build the offer, get the messages out there as quickly as you can. Month 3 to 4 is where you're creating systems and the content to make you look like a legit person. Get on camera. Who gives a damn what they think? Just get your voice out there, show that you're legit, and you're actually someone who's not hiding behind a computer screen. 5 months, 5 to 6-ish, you're really scaling acquisition. At this point, you should have 100% 3 to 5 close customers, probably even more, and you're slowly starting to build your team. So you're getting to delegate more and more. And then months 6 to 12 is you're just optimize what's working. You're increasing your margins. You're keeping costs low as possible, because I see this do too much where people get too bloated. You don't need to do that. That's where you start paid ads. That's where once you're at like 25 to 30 grand a month, you can start running ads. This was a huge mistake of mine where I relied too much on cold emails and referrals, and now I'm trying to make that time back up. So just be careful. Think about that long term, and maybe some warning signs of what not to do. If you're working more than 30 hours weekly after 6 months, something is genuinely wrong with your system, dude. If you're working that long, you've got clients in the air, this is where freelancers get stuck. Then, like, even at 10 grand a month, you need to fix that. You need to build your systems. I'm telling you, I know this joke is like where it's the flying private joke. Once you fly private, you never want to go back to economy or every business class. I'm telling you, you're going to feel this way when you hit your first 10. You just need to focus on getting there. We're into a black screen right now. I don't even care. You just need to get there. And there's no perfect way on how to hit 10 every single time, but I'm telling you it's there. So it's not about the money. To end this thing off, like, it's not about money. You 10 grand a month is normal without a job. I promise you. That is something I want to drive home. It's about freedom. It's not just about the money itself. It's building life on your terms. That's the whole thing. I'm a big car guy, as you guys know, but I want my freedom. Like, trust me, going to the gym when I want, eating when I want, chilling, looking at stocks whenever I want is worth more than hundreds of Lambos. I promise you. So anyways, as always, if you've made it this far, I want to see you win. I want to see you crushing this. I want to see you starting some type of business as soon as humanly possible, and rolling from there. So hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.